The Canadian oil industry has two critical problems that needs to be addressed ASAP. This affects everyone in Canada because crude oil accounts for roughly a quarter of the total Canadian export. If anything were to happen to this big industry, the Canadian economy and the Canadian people will all suffer. Currently, our oil industry is grossly relying on one buyer, the US. Needless to say, with the trade war and the looming tariffs, market diversification is the key. But we are facing two issues. Number one, our East Coast pipeline, Line 5, goes through the US. Line 5 supply most of the fuel used by Ontario, so why our government decided to set up this critical pipeline through another country is beyond me. This needs to be rectified ASAP, otherwise the Canadian economy will never be able to get out from the American chokehold. Number two, lack of refineries. Alberta has some of the world's richest oil reserves, but it only has four refineries. That means most of the Albertan crude oil are sold to the US at a below market price to process. Not only does it undermine the profit margin for Canadians, it makes Canadians vulnerable to the whims of American politicians. So if Canada ever wants to achieve energy independence, we need to build more refineries here at home. But there's one good news. The Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion in BC was finally completed in May of last year. That means we finally have some capacity to trade with the Asian market like China and Japan. So if Canada continues to have this political will to focus on building critical infrastructure and developing global market, it's only a matter of time before Canada emerges as a more resilient, more independent, more prosperous, more diversified nation with greater global opportunities. That's the future I want to see for Canada. What do you think? Let me know.